Hey guys, I'm doing a deck guide today on the X-Ecutioner Expo deck. So this is a deck I've had success with now in Grand Challenges. Really strong, beating even like Giant Lightning, Golem decks, Lavaloon, Zap Bait, things like that. So I think it's really strong right now. So we'll just go through some of the cards quickly. So obviously we have Expo, it's your win condition. Then you have your Inferno Tower, it's your main defensive card. That's what helps you, enables you to win versus beat down decks. So very good for either to you defend their push and then you put up an Expo, or if you have the Expo and then they drop a Giant or Golem, you can put the Inferno Tower down to kill their tank. Then we have the Ice Golem. Pretty obvious. It's a cheap tank. So you drop that in front of the Expo to stall. Also very strong defensively. Executioner, very good defensive card. So this deck is similar to the X-Bowler deck, except we sub out Bowler for Executioner because Executioner can also hit air. So in the X-Bowler deck, a lot of people would draw minions or Mega Minion at the bridge, where you put down your Expo, and then the Bowler obviously can't hit them, so they take out the Expo. But with the Executioner, he can hit air and kills minions in one attack at tournament level, and Mega Minion fairly quickly. The only problem is his movement speed is a little faster, so it's very hard to get kind of an ideal scenario. So if you drop Executioner at the back, you're before double elixir, you're only gonna have 6 elixir before he gets to the bridge. So then it's like if you drop an Expo, you're committing really hard and don't have enough to drop like an Ice Golem in front. Also, if they see Executioner at the back, they're most likely going to have a response already. So rather than setting up an ideal scenario like that, most of the time he's just used as a really strong defensive card. And sometimes when he counter pushes, you can get some chip damage in. So next, spell Fireball. A lot of people are using Rocket or Lightning, which are very strong. I just felt it was too expensive and also less versatile. So Fireball can be used more frequently. You know, you can use it on a Musketeer in the tower. You can kind of cycle faster, chip down their tower. You can use it on Executioner. If they make a little push at the bridge and it's more swarmy, rather than like 3 big targets, then it's, you know, a little better than Lightning. Also, in the odd case where someone uses a minion horde, it's one of the few answers to the minion horde. Unless they're in your tower range, then you can, you know, use your Ice Golem and Ice Wizard. So that brings us to the next card, being the Ice Wizard. Again, another very strong defensive card with his slowing capabilities, hitting ground and air. So he's really good, especially against like Lavahound and Balloons. He's kind of weak, like Executioner kills him pretty quick and he doesn't do much damage. So it's one of the cards actually I've thought about switching out. I'm just not sure exactly what to take his place. I've thought about the Electric Wizard, but I feel like he's a little too expensive. I kind of like the 3 elixir cost, but then looking at other 3 elixir cost cards, I was experimenting with Princess, because that can kind of work as an alternate win condition. If you can't get an Expo down, you can spell cycle and Princess at the bridge, chip them down. But everybody is running log, especially since the Zap nerf, so Princess gets killed. Which is the same reason why I don't want to use the Dart Goblin, because everybody's running log. And then Archers was another thought, but logged as well against Archers, and Executioner kills Archers as well. So I've kind of settled onto the Ice Wizard. Second last card I use is the Log. It's just a really strong card right now. If you use it at the bridge to push back their troops away from your Expo, it'll buy you a little bit of time. Also chip damage on their tower. just really strong defensive card. And then the last card being the Knight. So in a previous Expo deck, I usually used guards. This was back when a lot of people were using like Mini P.E.K.K.A. But Knight is actually really strong right now because X-Ecutioner, everyone's running X-Ecutioner. So guards get shredded by X-Ecutioner, not very good. Also, a lot of people are like running Furnace and more Splash. Log is also really common, right? So Knight works really well as a mini tank. He also does decent damage, and like you can drop him at the bridge to defend, like a Musketeer or Executioner or something, like behind their giant push, or in front of your Expo when you're being aggressive. Just a strong, versatile card. So I'll go into a few games and some of the common matchups we may have. So this is a Golem deck. This is a Golem deck that is very popular before the X-Ecutioner, and now I believe they've just swapped X-Ecutioner for Archers. And yeah, they were running like Zappa and Log because a lot of people were running Skeleton Army and whatnot. There's some sound in here. Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately my Executioner is only level 3, but it's okay. So I fireballed the Musketeer. Unfortunately, he does have a pump, and now my fireball is out of cycle. So what I do is, because he just pumped, he's down a little in elixir, I drop an Expo, hopefully to get some damage in. And just in time, he tried to drop the Golem to block, but then he gets to zap it. So here, I get to drop my Inferno Tower, I'll clean up the Golem. So if I had more time, I probably would have dropped it in front of the Expo, so that the Expo still lives and the Golem will hit the Inferno Tower. But in that situation, there's not enough time, and this way, if he supports the push, he's not shooting my Inferno Tower from his side, unless of course it's a Musketeer. So it's just better defensively. So here, this Executioner will help clean that up. He pumps up again. Now my Fireball is in rotation, so I got to hit his pump with my Fireball and clean up that push. So I'm really ahead in damage. He did get that one pump up for free though, so in this situation all I'm thinking is I have to defend with a positive elixir. So I use Ice Wizard to help slow things down, Ice Golem be the tank, and the Inferno Tower to kill the Golem and pull him into the center. So he gets to zap it. Also was able to drop the Knight in front of the Musketeer, so the Musketeer shot that rather than the Inferno Tower, because the Inferno Tower, because of the placement, it'll pull the Golem further over to the right-hand side, but unfortunately it would be too high up. So here again, my Inferno Tower placement is a little too high up, so Musketeer gets to hit it again. But I get to clean up the Golem. The Knight dropped just in time to take the Musketeer and Executioner shots. And then my Executioner cleans up his Musketeer. Ice Wizard tanks for his. We clean up. I drop an Exo because now I have a little elixir left over for a counter push. He dropped the Golem, so I just do the defensive Inferno Tower. See, that's a better placement to avoid being hit by a Musketeer. So I'll clean this up as well. Throw out a log, buy a little time, do some damage. Also, it's clear it's going overtime, so a little bit of chip damage is always useful. So I fireball the Mega Minion. Again, I'm thinking he's not really letting me get an Expo down. We're both pushing the same lane, so it's going to be very hard. So I kind of just need to spell cycle. Drop the other Inferno Tower. Knight on the Musketeer. And just throwing out my log. I'm gonna just try and cycle him down and defend. So I'm defending and not taking like any damage to my tower, which is really good because I'm pulling the Golem far away. Again, fireballing the Mega Minion every chance I get, just throwing out my fireballs. My Inferno Tower, again, placed to pull the Golem, and this is a better placement, again, not being hit by the Musketeer, so I learned my lesson. Drop my Knight to kill the Musketeer, and go on to his X-Ecutioner. Again, log, just trying to get more damage in. Just need like 2 fireballs and a log. Yeah, and that tower's down. So now I just need to survive. I could try and cycle really fast here, or I could try and play a little safer and drop the Inferno Tower. So I opt to draw the Inferno Tower, but it was a little too late. It doesn't pull there. But luckily I was able to cycle fast enough. So as you can see, with this deck, very strong defensively. Even those big Golem pushes, like he wasn't able to even reach my tower. And you just kind of, got to play a little slow, patient. One thing I could have done is tried pushing the opposite lane, but I felt I'd already committed so much to this lane, and it was already like down to half tower after the first expo, so I didn't want to. I felt like it was a little more of a risk because I was just defending him so well that I could just cycle him out. So the next game we can look at is just Giant Boulder Lightning. Theoretically a counter deck. I faced like 3 or 4 Giant Lightning decks. Most of them are using X-Ecutioner instead of Bowler. I tied one, like 1-3, and then when I lost, the guy was using X-Ecutioner, Bowler, and Giant. Just ridiculously hard matchup. So here I get my X-Ecutioner, just put him down, drop a Knight in front, see if I can take out the Musketeer, do anything. But he drops a Giant to tank, good play. So I just drop my Inferno Tower, take out the Giant. He lightnings it. So when you lightning this early in the game, I know he's behind in Elixir. So like I have an Ice Wizard on the field and we're at the same Elixir. So I went for a little bit of a risk. I dropped my Expo. He goes for his X-Ecutioner and then a Tombstone. And here I logged too soon. So unfortunately, I didn't just clean up the skeletons from the Tombstone. But then just cleaned it up, locks onto the tower. And he doesn't really respond. He probably should have just played his Bowler. He would have just, but it would have just cleaned up the tail end of an Expo and then pushed, and I would have just countered it for more Elixir. So I think he's just going to try to make a big push. He just sacked the tower. So here to avoid lightning, this is the Inferno Tower placement, so further up, so that doesn't hit the Crown Tower and the Inferno Tower. Got a good fireball hit on his Musketeer and the Bowler, and it worked out really well because I sent the Musketeer down the other side actually, and then Knight distracts the Bowler so he's not hitting the Ice Wizard and my tower. And I just kind of playing a little safer. I'm 1 tower up. I don't really need to push another tower. So I got my X-Ecutioner, Ice Wizard, my Ice Golem to tank the Bowler hits. Inferno Tower placement again to avoid lightning. However, his Musketeer can hit it, and my unit's bunched up on the tower, so I got good value with lightning. But here I can just fireball and defend, and yeah, he knows it's over now. So he's giving up. I'll have to defend for 20 seconds. So. Critical error on his part in his Expo defense. We can check out. See, there's a game where there's a draw. 6 minutes. It's pretty crazy. So we can look at his Zap Bait deck. It's a pretty tough matchup because Ice Wizard is just kind of poor at defending Goblin Barrel. All I really have is log, and obviously they try and bait out your logs, right, with skeleton army and princesses and stuff. So in this case, I just used X-Ecutioner to get a skeleton army. I had the log for the Golem Barrel. I drop a Ice Golem in front of my X-Ecutioner, try and make a little push. But he had Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A is really good at defending an X-Ecutioner. But my Ice Wizard just crossed the bridge and got a couple hundred tower damage. I'm pretty sure that Mini P.E.K.K.A would have got one hit, and I didn't want to risk it, so I just dropped the Knight. Fireballed the Mini Horde. I actually expected them to kill the Knight faster and move a little closer, but so I took 2 hits for that mistake. The Ice Wizard is just really good at defending the Furnace because he's kind of slow, and so he'll take out a couple waves of Fire Spirits. So this guy just mirrored a Furnace at the back. So I use a defensive Expo here. I'll finish that Furnace in the front, and also clean up all the Fire Spirits. Because with the Zap 8 deck, like, he just kind of chips you down, so I'm just trying to take as little damage as possible. Because all I need to do is get like 1 or 2 good Expos up, and I can win a game. Here drops Skeleton Army. I probably didn't need to drop the X-Ecutioner, but I was getting a 10 elixir anyway, so I figured best to be safe. So here I tried to save my Fireball. This is because I know he's playing Furnaces and like mirroring Furnaces. He hasn't been mirroring his Goblin Barrel. So I want to cycle my Fireball to get chip damage, because it's going to be really hard to get an Expo down. So I'm waiting for him to mirror the Furnace for my Fireball, so I get this defensive Expo to take out this forward one, the forward Furnace. He goes ahead and Fireballs it. I go ahead and Fireball his mirrored Furnace. Fortunately, he's splitting damage on the towers. He goes for his Goblin Barrel. I got my log. I dropped an X-Ecutioner because I was full elixir. He's going to push that weak lane. I put an Ice Golem in the front. Unfortunately, he scarred me the other side. So I dropped my Expo, hoping to try and break through here. Maybe get a good push. He mirrored a Mini P.E.K.K.A there. But actually, I'm able to defend it. Fireball his Minion Horde. And he gets his Skeleton Army down. So I didn't even get to hit the tower with that Expo. It's quite well defended. And actually now he's ahead in damage. So again, he's just going back to his Furnace, trying to chip me down. So I go defensive again. I have to rethink my strategy. So I'm like, okay, I try to get a little aggressive there. He's able to defend it and got some tower damage in on me. So not in a great spot. Drops his Minion Horde. I get to Fireball it. +1 elixir. Then I drop Skeleton Army. I use my Ice Golem to defend. My X-Ecutioner here, as he hits the Mini P.E.K.K.A, is getting some damage in, which is pretty good. So here I drop the Inferno Tower just to help defend and set up my Expo. Now this Expo gets to lock in, but his Mini Horde gets to clean it up. Throws out his Golem Barrel again, I get to log. Tower damage is about even. Now he gets the mirrored log, and he fireballs. So this is really scary. I'm down to like 500. But he Goblin Barreled, mirror Goblin Barreled, and fireballed. So I know he's got to be behind. And then I have a pretty good counterattack going. So I got to fireball. The log was actually really good. Cleaned up his Skeleton Army, and that was a nail in the coffin. So that was a really close game. Almost went in his favor. Although I probably could have defended like one more cycle of his. Like, yeah, I think he would have had to do like another like 2 cycles. You needed 2 fireballs and another spell, I think. And what else? Oh, okay, a Lavaloon. I think a lot of people know this Lava Hound Expo is a pretty good matchup, because when they drop Lavaloon at the back, you expo the other lane, and most of their units are flying. So your expo usually locks onto the tower. This guy has a tombstone as well, which is pretty good against expo. I just put a knight down. My X-Wizard just kind of cycling, testing the waters. I do have Inferno Tower, so my Inferno Tower placement, because when you Lava Hound on the far left side, you have to bring the Inferno Tower in a little bit. This way it'll actually pull the Lava Hound rather than it walking by it. Also, if you were to drop a balloon or something on the far left hand side at the bridge, it'll pull that as well. So I was able to clean that up, and I have an X-Ecutioner to back up my Expo. Expo locks on. He has Skeleton Army and Tombstone, but he can't play those because my X-Ecutioner is still alive, so it would just clean it up like really quick. So he kind of just used a balloon to clean up my Expo, put him behind, and now I got a good push going. X-Ecutioner will clean up the skeletons. Oh, and the Skeleton Army. And get a little bit of damage in. So now he's at like under 1,000 tower damage. I could just spell cycle it. And I just keep cycling. I'll drop my knight, see what he does. Drop my X-Ecutioner, puts down his Lava Hound. And so I just go for an Expo. See, I put it in the middle to put it further away from the Lava Hound. However, it does make it more vulnerable to things like balloon minions, mega minions. But I was able to lock onto the tower, take it out, and pull the Lava Hound. So it worked out really well. He lightninged it. That's fine. His Lava Hound gets cleaned up. Make another little push here. Knight, Ice Golem, drop the X-Ecutioner, and then I throw down the Expo. So I could have just played more defensively, but I figured if I push this advantage, he's going to be forced to defend. And Lava Hound I can defend really easily with just an Inferno Tower. So it worked out. I had to clear up his defense because he couldn't really do much to defend. And was able to defend the left-hand side for like positive. So I used Inferno Tower, Ice Wizard for his Lava Hound Mega Minion, so it's 8 for 10. Alright, I think we'll check out, see if we got another game here. Go watch this one. Like I said, a lot of people are running Giant Lightning. This guy's also running Tornado Log. And I think he had Zap too. Anyways, it's basically a counter for Zap Bait. And then you have Lightning to push through damage. And just your Giant push. So Lightning will help versus like Zap Bait with Inferno Tower rather than a Furnace. So here, just Executioners at the bridge, cycling out. Drop my Ice Wizard, and my Inferno Tower will counter his Golem. Okay, so he had arrows, not Zap. So I was able to defend that. My Ice Wizard is still alive. So I dropped an Expo, see what I can do. So he lightnings the Expo and logs. So when you lightning an Expo, it still gets some shots off. So I'm actually okay when people lightning an Expo. It's usually not horrible. And plus, he had to log it too, so I think he's behind 2 elixir about, 1.5. Here, I just fireball Executioner, help me to clean it up, get some more damage on his tower. This helps not waste elixir, but also not overcommit. Throw out my log again, just clean up his units and chip down the tower. He drops his minions. Got my Ice Wizard clean him up quite easily. My Inferno Tower for pulling Giant the maximum distance, so my Ice Wizard can clean out the minions. But he got a good lightning. I could have, I guess, placed the Inferno Tower further up, trying to avoid lightning. And then I just use, because the lightning was used, it now allows me to use my Expo more freely. So I got an Expo down. Got a little bit of chip damage in, got the log in, so I'm ahead in tower damage, and he's like ahead half an elixir, maybe not even. It's pretty well even. So he drops his giant, gonna make a push. Inferno Tower, unfortunately, he predicted it, so he got to drop his minions to tank it, and then he lightning, but he doesn't get to lighting my tower there, so that's important. He tornaded this because his Executioner is going to come in and hit both of them, but I dropped my Knight to counter his Executioner, and now I try to push with my Expo, put the Inferno Tower up to help defend, and just dropping troops in front to tank, try and clear him up so we can get some damage in. He's forced to lightning, but I still get a couple swings in with the Executioner, and now I can just spell cycle. Drops Executioner, I fireball. Now I can just log and cycle back to fireball. So rather than logging nothing, I was trying to do a bit of a safer cycle. Yeah, I could have already won already. Not sure why I did that. I guess I just didn't want... Oh, right, because yeah, it was just short. It wasn't log fireball, it was 2 fireballs. That's why. So, yeah, I was able to cycle back to my second fireball. Luckily, it was pretty close. Let's look at another one. What do we have here? Another Golem? Yeah, let's watch another Golem. This Golem can be pretty hard to defend as Expo. Similar to Lavaloon, what you can do is push the opposite lane if they do a Golem at the back. I like the Knight first as a play. I think a lot of the cards aren't very good first cards to play. Like Inferno Tower, Expo, my spells aren't very good to play first. So he tried to back up his Executioner by dropping a Golem at the bridge. I guess this can work in some cases as a bit of a surprise tactic. But I had an Inferno Tower, so I was ready. If I was running a deck with, like, I don't know, a Furnace or Tombstone, the Executioner would just clean it up. He also has a miner. I was able to predict the placement. Most likely, players place the miner, like in situations like this, the left-hand side or the bottom. This is because it's kind of like furthest away from your troops and like not hitting the other tower. And then you'll see some players who will actually miner the front of the tower because people expect you to go and miner the back. They go to the front. So to help predict miner placement, you kind of have to fill out your opponent. But in most scenarios, yeah, they'll just kind of go for the side back area. So when a Golem explodes, actually the Expo, it targets faster than the Golemites appear, so it'll lock onto the tower, and then the Golemites will be there. So it's actually kind of nice that you can get some damage in sneakily. And Ice Wizard gets a little more chip damage in. The good thing about Ice Wizard too is a lot of people, he's not really much of a threat. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so people can sometimes just like ignore him and be like, well, I'll take a little bit of damage. So it's nice you can get a little chip with him. So here the guy tried to put the miner in front to tank the Inferno Tower, but he had to zap anyway. Golem was already in range. And you can see just how solid this deck is in defending with the X-Ecutioner and the Ice Wizard. And then cheap tanks like the Knight or Ice Golem. So here again, like, it's just putting a lot of pressure on him. He's obviously feeling it, like he just had to miner to defend Expo. And then yeah, Expo locks in. He's got nothing. So currently, really strong cards are use Tornado and X-Ecutioner, and that will like defend like most pushes. Is you just Tornado like X-Ecutioner is just throwing your axes in there. So if you guys are looking for decks to run right now, oop, that's ladder. Watch this hog deck, I guess. So goblins are actually making a little bit of a comeback. I experimented in a deck with goblins as well. The only problem is now a lot of people just switch to log, so the goblins don't survive the log. They just survive zap now. So I think it may have been better for Supercell if they just buffed goblins a little bit rather than nerfing zap. But I mean, the zap nerf was actually pretty good, because now look at all the spells people are using. People are finally using more tornadoes and arrows, and of course, yeah, log is just seeing tons of usage still. So, what's good about this deck against Hog Rider is sure, Inferno Tower, very good against Hog Rider. Most Hog Riders come with an Ice Spirit or Ice Golem, so even dropping Inferno Tower will either be even elixir trade or like +1. Even if they do like a Hog Rider with no support, having a -1 for taking no damage from the win condition is pretty good. Also, a lot of times they'll make people use their spells. Sometimes people do like pre-fire spells, and then if they use their spell like lightning or fireball when you Inferno Tower, then you're pretty safe to Expo. So here I fireballed the pump. I didn't want him to get too much of an elixir advantage, and I got some damage in on his tower, so I felt like I was in a pretty good spot here. And he's ahead like half an elixir, so it's not bad. But yeah, now he's got pump again. So my fireball is obviously out of cycle. I just used it. So in order to take advantage of this, I'm gonna have to make a push. So I get X-Ecutioner, Ice Golem. Really strong push coming in. Inferno Tower. It'll help tank X-Ecutioner, also kill them. Got the fireball there too, that was good. The log, unnecessary. And then he fireballed to finish up my Expo. So now in this case, I am just ignoring his pumps. He can pump up as much as he wants now, because we're gonna be into overtime soon, and all I need to do is do 850 more damage to this tower. So here I fireball. See, I just ignore the pumps. I don't need to kill them. Just, yeah, fireball logging. He's able to zap my Expo. Still gets the final hits in. Actually, right at the last second. So yeah, most people, like most of the time, yeah, you need to control the elixir pumps. If it gets out of hand, people can make a big push that you just can't stop. Or either, like in the case of his deck, he could throw it like his hog push, and then like cycle back to it like really quickly because he has an elixir advantage. So like he could really easily find my like Inferno Tower out of rotation. But yeah, so that's the deck I've been using grand challenges. Was it last night 12 win and then 11 win, and my loss was against that deck. Giant Bowler, Executioner, Musketeer, Pump, Minions, Logs, that. Pretty tough deck. I also had a critical error in the beginning. I just expoed too early. But that's all I wanted to show you. Hopefully you enjoy this deck. I think it's really successful right now, and I have a lot of fun playing it.